It began with a strange color spreading across the water. At first, people thought it was sunlight reflecting off the waves, but as the hours passed, the ocean grew darker and deeper in color until entire coastlines appeared soaked in blood. Beaches that were normally blue and beautiful became terrifying shades of crimson red. Fishermen stared in disbelief. Tourists gathered along the shore taking videos. Some people thought it looked beautiful. Others felt a growing sense of fear they could not explain. Because throughout history, when the ocean turns red, it is often a warning that something is terribly wrong. The phenomenon is commonly known as a red tide, but there is nothing peaceful about it. Beneath the surface, billions of microscopic organisms are multiplying at explosive rates. These tiny algae spread through the water so densely that they change the color of entire coastlines. In some cases, the ocean appears red, brown, orange, or even dark green. But the real danger is not the color. It is what comes next. Certain species of algae release powerful toxins into the water. These toxins can poison fish, contaminate shellfish, and even become airborne through sea spray. Entire marine ecosystems can collapse within days. Fish begin washing ashore by the thousands. Dolphins, sea turtles, and birds suddenly die without obvious injuries. The smell of decay fills the air as coastlines become graveyards for marine life. For humans, the effects can also become deadly. People exposed to toxic red tides may suffer breathing problems, skin irritation, nausea, dizziness, and severe coughing. In some outbreaks, entire beaches are closed because simply standing near the water becomes dangerous. One of the most terrifying things about red tides is how quickly they can spread. Warm water, pollution, and changing ocean conditions can trigger explosive algae blooms covering hundreds of miles of coastline. Coastal towns that depended on the sea suddenly faced financial disaster along with environmental catastrophe. In 2018, one of the worst red tide outbreaks in recent history struck the coast of Florida. The toxic bloom lasted for months, killing massive numbers of fish and marine animals. Beaches became littered with dead sea life. Residents described the air itself feeling toxic to breathe. The stench was so overwhelming that some people could not even open their windows. Scientists continue studying why these events are becoming more frequent and intense in some parts of the world. Rising ocean temperatures, agricultural runoff, sewage pollution, and climate shifts are all believed to play major roles. Fertilizers washed into rivers eventually reach the ocean, feeding algae growth like fuel poured onto a fire. The frightening truth is that nature often gives warnings before environmental collapse, and sometimes those warnings arrive in terrifying colors. Throughout history, blood-red seas have terrified civilizations. Ancient sailors believed crimson oceans were signs of curses, disasters, or divine anger. Even today, seeing an entire shoreline turn red creates an instinctive sense of danger deep within the human mind. Because the sight feels unnatural, the ocean is supposed to represent life. Calm blue water, crashing waves, endless horizons. But when the sea becomes red, it transforms into something alien and disturbing. And there are even darker possibilities hidden beneath the surface. In some rare cases, red-colored water has been linked to underwater volcanic activity, where minerals and chemicals released from the seafloor stain the ocean's strange colors. Massive fish die-offs can also darken coastal waters with blood and decay. In extreme situations, polluted waterways carrying industrial waste have turned rivers and coastlines horrifying shades of crimson. No matter the cause, the image remains unforgettable. An ocean that looks like blood stretching toward the horizon. A sea filled with death instead of life. A warning from nature that balance is being broken. Scientists now monitor red tides carefully using satellites, ocean sensors, and water testing systems. But despite modern technology, many outbreaks still arrive suddenly and spread faster than expected. Coastal communities can wake up one morning to find the ocean transformed overnight. The waves still move peacefully. The tide still reaches the shore. But the water no longer looks alive. It looks poisoned. And perhaps that is what makes it so terrifying. Because when the ocean turns red, it feels less like a natural event and more like the planet itself is sending a message humanity cannot afford to ignore.